Hey everybody, this is JMPL GT4. I'm gonna now do my picks for the Big 12 Conference North Division. There will be another video shortly after this that will be covering my predictions for the South Division. I'm gonna go ahead and start this out quick. I'm not a big fan of the North Division. I'm a Big 12 South fan, so I'm going to probably just breeze by North Division schools. I might touch on a few of them that I really feel like I need to talk about, but more than likely I'm just going to get through this pretty quick. Nebraska. I kind of talked about this in my other video for the Big 12 overall picks, what I felt each of them would end up coming in at the end of the year. Nebraska, I think that they're going to have probably the most, not the most solid, but they're going to have a pretty solid defense. Like I said in my other video, I think the only question mark and the issue that they're going to have this year is going to be their quarterback position. Nebraska the past few years has not been a offensive team. They've solely been a defensive team. You can obviously see that. The game they had with Texas last year was a very close game, and it came down to less than a field goal. At the end of the night, that's what it came down to, and it wasn't much. I believe they had less than 20 points. I don't remember the exact score in the Big 12 championship game last year, but if they can improve their offensive game this year, I think Nebraska is going to have a good chance to be a pretty respectable team this year. I think they're already getting a little bit of that recognition. They're ranked in the top 25 this year, preseason. I think they're going to do all right. Whenever it comes down to apples and oranges, I think there might be some question marks in there that I'm not too. I don't know. I just don't know if they're going to get it done. So I don't think they can compare to the likes of a Texas caliber team, as we saw last year, made it to the Big 12. To the national championship game, or that of an OU team where they're good on offense and defense. So we'll really just have to kind of play it by ear this year, see how they do. Only time will tell. That's really what it boils down to. So this year, to look at their schedule just a little bit, we have they have a pretty breezy schedule. Western Kentucky, Idaho, Washington. That might pose a little bit of a task for the Cornhuskers. I think they're gonna be playing against a pretty decent Washington team. South Dakota State. Then they open up conference play with Kansas State, Texas. That's the game that a lot of people are talking about. That's gonna be the marquee game of the year for that week. Not of the year. The marquee game of that week. Mark it on your calendars. October 16th is when that game will be taking place. Followed by Oklahoma State, Missouri, Iowa State, Kansas, A&M, and Colorado. If you want me to break that down, I believe only teams that they might have issues with are Texas and Texas A&M. So I believe that's 12 games there. Yeah, 12 games. So if you're looking at best case scenario, they're able to pull off something against Texas and Texas A&M. They go 12-0. Worst case, they should go 10-2. Let's move on to Missouri. They you hear a lot of stuff about Blaine Gabbert. I'm not going to deny he's a pretty decent quarterback, but I know last year he was playing injured throughout the majority of the year, and really I know they have some weapons on offense and defense, but like I've been saying all this time, it's kind of like that situation with Texas in the national championship game this last year. I believe they went all in on Colt McCoy, and in turn they did not have a quarterback that was suitable. I'm not gonna say suitable, but he wasn't prepared to take on that game. Of course, what whenever you're playing behind Colt McCoy, really, who do you have that's prepared to come in that type of a situation? Probably not many people, but it still goes to show you that, maybe if teams and coaches put a little more emphasis on their second string to prepare them as much as possible, because if your quarterback goes down, typically on most teams that I've seen, the quarterback's the leader of the team. You're talking about Colt McCoy being the leader of the Texas Longhorn team. He got injured, he went out of the game, and they asked a freshman to come in and to fill that void. Those are some big shoes to fill. Missouri, it's the same. It's no different. If Blaine Gabbert was to go down this year, it's going to be catastrophic for their season. But I have Nebraska number 1 in the Big 12 North, Missouri number 2 in the Big 12 North, followed by Kansas State. Last year, Bill Snyder, he did some okay things. They didn't do a bad job last year, I don't think, but I think that they could do better. Actually, before I go on to Kansas State, let me touch on Missouri's schedule right quick. Illinois, that might be an interesting game to start the season off, followed by McNeese State, San Diego State, Miami. Illinois is going to be an interesting game. Colorado, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Iowa State, and Kansas. The only teams that I see on there that could give them some potential issues are Illinois, A&M, Oklahoma, Nebraska. So best case, they go, obviously, well, I don't see them winning all their games. So I'd say maybe best case they can pick off maybe 2 of the 4 that I think they could potentially lose. They might go 10-2. Worst case, they go 8-4 this year. So moving on to Kansas State, Bill Snyder is doing some pretty good stuff up there. I don't think they're ready to take that next step to be one of the marquee teams in the Big 12. Other than that, I'm just going to move on. I don't think they're going to do all that great this year. They'll do decent, but they're not going to have. They might just barely have a winning season. Let's take a look at their schedule. We got UCLA, Missouri State, Iowa State, UCF, Nebraska, Kansas, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas, Missouri, Colorado, and North Texas. Of those teams, I think we're looking at UCLA, Nebraska, maybe Baylor, maybe Oklahoma State, maybe Missouri, and maybe Texas. That could cause them some issues. So we're looking at best case. Maybe Baylor. Maybe they can pick off Baylor and Oklahoma State. I don't see them getting it done. Well, maybe they lose against UCF as well. I'm gonna say best case is maybe 9-3. Worst case 6-6 for the Kansas State team. I guess after that we got the Colorado Buffaloes. I don't even know how they can be considered in my poll right here as the number 14 in the Big 12 North. I really do not have much respect for Colorado whatsoever. That Dan Hawkins, that guy is a joke. He asked for extension on his on his contract, and he has not earned it. I think that is ridiculous for him to even believe that the school would give him a renewed, if not an extended contract. But let's take a look at their schedule. They got Colorado State, California, Hawaii, Georgia, Missouri, Baylor, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa State, Kansas State, Nebraska. Let me see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 teams. Of the 12 teams, we got 3 that are currently ranked. We got number 7 Oklahoma, number 8 Nebraska, number 23 Georgia. California, I think it might be a decent team this year, so that might be one for them to look out for. Obviously, they're going to have to look out for Georgia. They're going to have to look out for Missouri. They will more than likely have to look out for Baylor, because that's just the type of caliber team they are. They're going to have to look out for Texas Tech. They're going to have to look out for Oklahoma. maybe Kansas State, and Nebraska. So you're looking at potentially 8 losses on the season if they can't clean up their game this year. So I'm gonna say best case maybe 7-5, but worst case 4-8, and that would probably more than likely be a quick boot out the door for old Dan Hawkins, unfortunately for him. We'll move on to Kansas. I don't have anything bad to say about Kansas. Kansas they have a new coach this year, Turner Gill, and I said this in my other video, Big 12 overall. I think that Turner Gill might be the right guy for that job. Mangino, he did a pretty decent job whenever he was there. I believe he got him to bowl game or something like that, and it was a big deal for Jayhawks up there. But I think Turner Gill is the right guy to move them in that right direction to becoming a winning football program. We look at Kansas and let's look at their schedule. They got North Dakota State, Georgia Tech, Southern Miss, New Mexico State, Baylor, Kansas State, A&M, Iowa State, Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Missouri. So again, like I said, for Colorado, their schedule, just based on the type of caliber team they are in a transition year from Mangino's old style game that he liked to play to Turner Gill's new game that he wants to play. So potentially, let me see, they got 2 preseason ranked teams in Georgia Tech and Nebraska. Of the potential ones that could give them some problems, I'm going to say Georgia Tech, Baylor, Kansas State, A&M. I'm not even going to say Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, and Missouri. So again, that's actually a 7 game worst case scenario. Worst case scenario team. 7 losses, so a 5-7. But I mean, you never know what could happen. Who knows? Colorado might actually show up to play or something. But that's kind of what I think about those guys. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear with those guys. We'll move on to the last team, the Big 12 North, Iowa State. I really have nothing to say about them. I'm not too familiar with the program. I don't get that feeling that they're going to do anything this year. We got Northern Illinois, Iowa, Kansas State, Northern Iowa, Texas Tech, Utah, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, and Missouri as their teams to play. We got 4 preseason ranked teams, number 5, 7, 8, and 9 in Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Iowa. The teams that are going to give them problems: Iowa, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Utah, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, and Missouri. So that's an 4-8 season for them, worst case. And I'm going to be honest with you, with that schedule, I'm going to say that they will do no better than 4-8 this year. So that's all I got for now. The Big 12 North overall. That's all I got. See you guys later.